All right, hey guys, this is Zach. You guys know me at this point. I'm a leader. I'm the weird one who's from way down near Kentucky, leading all you kids. That man almost hit me. So this is Zach in traffic, giving the next club talk, or the next. It's not really club, it's the club of life, but that sounded cheesy. This is the next talk. This is car talk with Zach. I just said that, but, this is take, I think, number 327. I've taken one from home, one from with my notes, one with whatever, but, what I've realized in life is sometimes you just gotta wing it. So I did take another take on my way up here. I'm currently in Milwaukee, actually, back up in the land of you hooligans. I took a take on the way up here, and I was stopping. I figured, there's no better way to take this video while I'm eating the Lord's chicken. So I was in the ChickfilA drive-thru, and I had a take where the person who was taking my order, she was standing outside, sweet little girl. Not little, she's about y'all's age, but she came out and was like, peeked her head in and said hi. So hopefully I'll have to submit that to John later. Maybe we can get that clip in there. But everything's good. Quarantine has been, I'm going crazy, or I did. So Indiana's actually back open. We're out seeing people, enjoying, I don't mean to brag, but we get to enjoy our friends and the people that I am back home to see, which I think that was a huge thing for me, seeing over this quarantine how much I'm really gifted with the people I love and the people I'm around, and just the gift of purely just being in someone's presence. And so I'm really getting to enjoy being with the people I love, the people who I get to constantly be around, especially with me leaving this summer for a while. That was really the thing I struggled with in quarantine for a while, is being back in town, but not being able to see the people I want to be in town for. Plus, you can only have so much family time. I love my family. I'm a big mama's boy. But yeah, there's only so much family time before you start getting on each other's nerves real bad. I wanted to share with you guys a few Bible verses, Bible stories, and kind of thoughts that I've been meditating over the past so many days, along with the decision I've had to make that's really kind of had me think about these ideas and Bible verses a lot recently. So first things first, it's one of my go-tos through this whole quarantine and life in general was Psalm 23, which I don't know if you guys are not familiar with Psalm 23, it's in a really typical sense, it's the one, even though I walk through the valley, the shadow of the valley of death, I shall fear no evil. But in all honesty, the words, if you guys take a read it, forgive me, I'm not going for my notes here, but it talks about how God, if you pursue him and you are just chasing after God in everything you do, in situations where you have no control and you have no idea what's going to happen, no matter what the challenge may be, God's going to take you, God's got you, and he's going to lie you down in green pastures, lie you down next to streams, and he's going to comfort you in all that you do. He's going to be there. He's going to be your sword, your shield, your staff, and he's going to be leading you and there with you through every step of the way. And I think that's just a really powerful thought to think, especially with, coronavirus, where we're surrounded by tragedy and all sorts of things happening right now. It's crazy to think that be calm enough to be content and say, you know what? God's got me right now. It doesn't matter if something happens, no matter how much time we have left or whatever may happen, God's got me, and I'm here to pursue him, which is, I think, amazingly has helped me through this whole coronavirus thing, because the big issue for me was not really being anxious about the future or the virus or what's going to happen, just the anxiety about I'm not moving forward, I'm not moving backwards, I'm just stagnant right now. And finding ways for me to improve myself, to dive deeper in whatever I may be doing at that time in order to just be productive in any way possible. So the second thing with that was I want to share with you guys, it's a pretty popular prayer. In high school, I wore around my neck on a little pendant. It's called the Serenity Prayer. basically the Serenity Prayer says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I think that's really big right now for me, especially because I'm always one to want to change and to do and to kind of attack anything I can in order to make a change and help out in any way I can. But a lot of times there's things we cannot do. But in all reality, there's certain things, there's little things that we can control no matter what situation we are in. And when we get pushed out of comfortable situations like that, which I'm big on pushing people out of their comfort zone, but this quarantine really pushed me out of my comfort zone, and there was the usual things that I can control, I was not in control of. And so, in all, just being able to accept that and praying to God to say, hey, let me be content where I'm at right now, was huge in this whole process. This brings me to my second thing. So you guys know I'm going into the military this summer. And I did say, and I'm sorry guys, I did say I would be back. But big sad news, because of the coronavirus, I was presented with the option, and they said basically I'd either have to wait longer to join the military, which is a huge part of my story because I've actually been told no 3 times by the military, and it's been my dream ever since I was a kid. And they said it's either that or I go active duty, and I changed my whole plan that I already had, which is kind of funny. I love how God really has me on this roller coaster, and every time I think I got it figured out or I think I'm on top of things, he says, hey, let's change it. He kind of laughs because he says, you know what, your plan's good, but my plan, hey, it's way better than you can ever imagine. So just hold on for a second. We're going to change things up a little bit. He just shakes things upside down. So sadly, I will not be returning to Milwaukee. But with that, I wanted to touch on some things, especially, anyone who's graduating or anyone who's moving on and doing other things throughout this process, because coronavirus and this whole quarantine has ended a lot of opportunities for people or presented new opportunities. And I think the big thing that I wanted to stress is kind of something I live by, is that God doesn't call anyone to an ordinary life, because every life with Christ is extraordinary. You guys really don't realize how, or maybe you do, I'm not one to say, but I'm from a very small town where I come from, where literally everyone goes to church. There's like a couple churches that it's like, oh, you go to this one or this one. I mean, really, it's either primarily where I'm from, you're either Catholic or you go to the big non-denominational church, which in my case, I went to both. You gotta get that double shot of Jesus, I've kind of realized through that, God calls us to live be radical Christians, to be radical in everything that we do, and we don't realize sometimes just purely going to church, reading the Bible, going to like that Sunday night Bible study is something that really is radical. We don't realize how many people, especially when you get to college, you'll realize how many people that will say when you go to church on Sunday, hey, why are you doing that? You don't have to anymore. Your parents are making you. What are you doing? And I think it's a beautiful thing when you actually take up your faith and say, you know what? No, I'm doing this for me, because it's not my parents' faith, it's my faith. I think that was a big turning point for me. So yeah, there's a lot of things in life where you get called to these decisions, like I'm currently being, and I wanted to share with you guys, I've found, because I think a big thing I've struggled with in life is realizing what decision is hey, and in big decisions, what does God want me to do in here? Because it's sometimes hard to tell. Is this of God, or is this of something I'm just making a random decision? Which is cool, because I'm usually one to make very, very wild and random decisions out there, purely because I'm living at God's speed, is a phrase I like to say, because if God's calling me to something I never thought in a million years would happen, then I'm choosing that one, because there's no way that in a million years I would have thought that I'd be presented the opportunity to go back into the military full time and to be presented that option. And so if God's wanting a big change right now, then hey, that's what he's going to get. So I think that's a challenge I challenge a lot of people, is saying I would love to see what it means to purely live at God's speed, to live at the speed that God's calling us to be, and just to, we can never really keep up, it seems like, but just to be making moves, taking action, and living radically. So to sum all that up, I think the biggest thing that I've been kind of reflecting over recently is a quote by one of my favorite authors, a guy named Francis Chan. Francis says that his biggest fear isn't failing in life, but succeeding in the wrong things. And I think that's super powerful just to think about in anything that you're doing, because I think we stress so much over, am I pleasing so-and-so? Am I doing so well? I mean, especially me in high school, I was always worried about, am I going to do this correctly in this sport? Am I going to succeed or get this tackle, do that? Am I going to make it to everything? But in reality, those are things that I'm succeeding at that don't really matter, though, that don't matter to God. And I mean, sure, it's great. Don't get me wrong, it's always fun. Use the gifts God has given you. But I think that's a powerful challenge to say, am I worried too much about the things that don't, in all reality, matter to me in the future? So yeah, that's just one thing I've been reflecting over a lot. And something that's helped me with that is thinking, as someone challenged me one time, is because I've always been worried about, okay, I need to get my priorities. I need to think, sports, I need to spend this much time with this much time with this. But in reality, someone challenged me, well, how would that look if I put God as my first priority and then let Him decide everything else? And so I guess that's my challenge to you over these next few, however long your guys' quarantine extends, is to put God as your first priority and to see how that allows you to interact with your family, to interact with the people that you're stuck with during quarantine, and to see if that improves or allows you to just have a more wholesome time with the people that you're with, and appreciate just, the weird position that we're in. But, it's one of those things where we can turn everything that God does means for good. And so there's hopefully some good can come out of this. So hopefully y'all are doing good. I'll see y'all when I see you. And hey, thanks for an amazing year.